So, without further ado, here's the story of The Apple of My Eye by Nordryd. The synopsis is pretty much your best friend and crush Applejack invites you to join her and her family to go with them to the Apple family reunion. Can you keep your feelings to yourself, or maybe you shouldn't? Or maybe it's finally time to admit your true feelings. And this is a two-parter because there's like a fucking epilogue that happens, but it's short. Alright, let's get on with it. You let out a mighty sigh as you set down the last wheelbarrow of apples for the day. You find a crate by the entrance of the barn and collapsed on it, wiping beads of sweat off your brow. Nothing sapped your energy more than a day of work at Sweet Apple Acres. You find your water bottle and take a swig. The ice-cold water sends a cool, refreshing sensation throughout your body, contrasting today's scorching heat. At least the hot summer sun was going down now, making things marginally cooler. Timing. We pretty much are in the official start of summer. Phew, a familiar voice says in front of you. You look to see Applejack wiping sweat off her forehead. Nothing like an honest day's work, huh? Speak for yourself, you say. AJ just chuckled, taking a seat next to you. Thank you kindly for helping us out, she says, opening a bottle of fizzy apple cider. Sure appreciate it. No problem, AJ, you say. She leans back on the barn, taking a sip of her cider, and you lean back as well, gazing out into the distance. Land sakes. Sun setting behind the apple tree still amazes me. Same here, you say. It's times like this you really treasure quality time alone with Applejack, your best friend, just sitting out in the front of the barn, watching the sun set behind the orchard, igniting the sky with colors. Nothing but peaceful silence with her. There was nothing better. You and Applejack have known each other since you were toddlers and have been practically inseparable ever since. You remember running along the rolling hills of Sweet Apple Acres with her. You remember messing around in the piles of hay in the barn, and you even remember messing around with some of the farm animals. Getting in trouble with Granny Smith, too. As she grew older...
What kind of trouble with the animal?
As Applejack grew older, she started to become more responsible around the farm, and those childish adventures fell by the wayside. But you didn't mind, because you found many other ways to spend time with her. You began working on the farm every weekend to help her and her family out. It was hard work, but you always looking forward to spend quality time with her afterwards as you both recover from the hard labor. Times like right now. She even taught you how to bake. At least she tried. She'll never stop giving crap about every time you mess up in the kitchen. But you just give her a hard time about how obsessed she is with apples. It's all in good fun, though. Buy some apples. You've become very close to her family and friends as well. You've known Apple Bloom she was barely able to speak, and have watched her grow into an ambitious and cheerful young woman. Big Macintosh was like a big brother to you, and Granny was like the grandmother you never knew. Applejack's friends were your friends as well, and vice versa. But among all the friends you had, AJ has and always will be your greatest friend ever. She's seen you at your worst and has always been there for you. You've given each other crap constantly and annoy each other to no end, but at the end of the day, she's your best friend. Well, how about we head on inside, she says. I got an apple pie with your name on it. Actually, I need to head home. Huh? Why? You bite your lip. Well, I got a lot of work to do. Like what? She folds her arms, giving you a sassy look. Y'all can't have homework, it's summer. Well... Sure, Cube. You know I can see any lie. You bite your lip. You know she's right. She was like a living lying detector that was 100% right all the time. Something going on. You never pass on an apple pie. You rub your neck and look down on the ground. She saw through your lie, just like she always does. Not that you lie to her a lot, but it's just a force of habit. It was true. Her apple pie was one of your favorite things in the world. And I see you, chat. Stop fucking getting dirty.
Wait, I ain't seen the chat yet. Wow. Alright.
I bet they're fucking thinking it.
Yeah.
I have a dirty mind too. You can't escape me.
Yeah. Zach over here is saying, I like that thick ass. Sorry. I like that thick booty. Phantom Doctor. Oh my goodness.
Alright. There was really not a reason for you to not join her, except for one. And now you've made things awkward. I'm just really tired, that's all. She studies you for a moment, raising an eyebrow. You're unsure of what she's thinking, but you can tell she's not too thrilled. After an awkward moment, she just sighs. Well, if you really don't want to talk about it, I guess that's fine. But before you leave, can I ask you something? Of course. Tomorrow we're all heading to Appaloosa for the Apple family reunion. I'm sure you know. How could I forget? You wouldn't stop talking about it. Just something I always look forward to. It's always so much fun, catching up with the family, playing games with them. I haven't heard Graham and Smith, they're going to be a barn dance. Sounds exciting, so why does this have to do with me? I'm getting there. She gives you a faint scold. I was just wondering if you want to come with us. Your eyes go wide. Wait, you want me to go with you? Yeah, you're basically family, aren't you? It'd be fun. You ponder for a moment, and you can't help but picture what the reunion will be like in your head. Surrounded by apples. Applejack's immediate family was a lot of fun to be with, so you can only imagine what her relatives must be like. But you can't help...
Apple.
What?
Just giant apples, that's all.
But you can't help but feel apprehensive. Besides, Sugar Q, we haven't spent as much time as we used to. Again, you bite your lip. She was right. Once more. What do you say, Sugar? We'd love to have you along. You look into her forest green eyes, and they're filled with hope. You can tell she really wants you to say yes, and it's clear by the way she's smiling. Oh, that sweet, beautiful smile. How could you say no to that? Well, okay. Yee-haw! Then she gives you a big hug. We're going to have so much fun! You immediately reciprocate Applejack's tight embrace. Somehow you're unsure if she knows her own strength or not. She has a strong hug. You've always been amazed at the sheer amount of muscle underneath that skin. You better get packing, she says. We'll take a second car this time around. You alright with riding with Apple Bloom and her friends and I? Wait, her friends are coming too? Darn tootin', they're all friends with my cousin Babsy. They're really excited to see her. That's cool. I don't mind riding with you at all. Great. We'll pick you up tomorrow morning. See you then. Yep, see you then, you say. She gives you another hug before heading back inside. And you can hear her telling Apple Bloom about the news. And you can hear her cheering shortly after. You made your way back to the car, and you had a long night of packing ahead of you. As you drive home, you scold yourself for making things so awkward, and for lying to her. Twice! Why do you lie? Most importantly, why do you lie to Applejack, the one person who could successfully call every one of your deceptions? Why do you even bother? You couldn't help yourself back there. It was almost reflexive. Unfortunately, she just makes you nervous. She didn't used to, but ever since high school started, you've been looking at her through different eyes. When you're around her, your knees get weak. I'm resisting the urge to just continue on with Mom's spaghetti. So let's just say we did. She's just so hardworking and honest. Smart, strong, independent. Her devotion to her work is something to admire. And your matured mind has started to notice how beautiful she is. You haven't met a girl with a prettier face than hers. Adorable freckles, forest green eyes, the prettiest smile, golden blonde hair. She was just gorgeous. And admittedly, the more perverted side of your brain has paid attention to her body becoming more developed.
Oh, here we go.
Contain yourself.
I'll try.
You can't help but take every opportunity you can to gawk at her. It was almost subconscious. She was just so pretty in every way. Not only that, but every time you hear that southern accent of hers, your heart just dances. And as strong as her hugs were, you always wished it would last just a little longer so you could savor the feeling of holding her in your arms. Somebody's going, "What's the noodles in your pocket, sugar cube?" You didn't want to admit it yourself, but there was a point you could deny it no longer. You have a crush, a huge one. Oh wait, I gotta say it again. A huge one on Applejack, your closest friend. You've been keeping it in all this time, and the last thing you want is to alienate your best friend. Scare off the girl who stuck by you since you were little. The thought alone was frightening beyond belief. Sure, you had friends who weren't her, but you could always count on her to be there for you. Part of you had missed her, but a bigger part wants to avoid her. Every time you get close to her, you can sense your feelings trying to get out, yearning to be heard by Applejack's ears. It was like your heart went on autopilot when you were around her, and you had to fight yourself to keep your feelings contained. You do kind of miss her, though. She seemed really eager for you to come along. Still a few days with her? How are you going to keep your feelings to yourself? As you drive home, you remember something she had said about the reunion earlier. You recall her mentioning a barn dance. You'd never been to one before, but you smile at the thought of dancing with her, spinning her around, holding her close, gazing into her beautiful green eyes. Your mind drifts to thoughts of holding her in your arms, brushing her long golden hair, caressing those cute freckled cheeks, keeping her safe in your arms. Your smile grows bigger as you're thinking about kissing Applejack. Just pausing for dramatic effect.
Wow. You need to keep his eyes on him, or he's going to keep fantasizing.
You shake your head to refocus yourself, but there's a smile on your face for the rest of the ride home. Maybe you shouldn't keep your feelings contained. Maybe her inviting you to the Apple family reunion was a sign. Maybe it was time to finally admit how you truly feel. Now for the next day. Yeah. After a 7-hour car drive with Applejack, Apple Bloom, and her two friends, Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle, you arrived at your destination, Appaloosa. She was out of the car in the blink of an eye, as well as Apple Bloom and her friends, and you got out of the car last. "Babsy!" the three younger girls cry out. Apple Bloom, Scootaloo, and Sweetie Belle ran towards a girl who you can only assume is Babseed. "Girls!" Babseed exclaims. She met the three girls in a big group hug. A heartwarming sight. Reunion of friends. You see Big Mac helping out with some of the luggage, and Granny Smith talking with some of the Apple family relatives. You never would have guessed how large the Apple family was. There were so many apples, and they were all conversing with each other, reading the most recently arrived members of the family. You spot AJ unloading some things from the back of the car, and you join her. The only one you really know who didn't seem to be too busy at the moment. "Your family's huge, AJ," you say. "We're quite a bunch." "Applejack," says an unfamiliar voice. She turns her head, and you follow. Approaching you two is a taller guy with orange and yellow hair and a cowboy hat. "Brayburn," she says, giving them a hug. "Long time no see." "Too long. Good to see you." "Oh, we got the gay apple in here."
Gay apple. Oh boy.
His eyes land on you. Uh-oh. And his expression turns quizzical. What do we have here? He says, releasing Applejack and walking up to you. As the hardy Applejack finally found herself a beau, you feel the temperature of your face skyrocket and your cheeks going bright red. A guffaw from Applejack startles you. Nah, he ain't my boyfriend. He's my best friend. Known each other since we were little. Ain't that right? She puts her arms around you, making you flinch slightly. Yeah, known each other for our whole lives. Brayburn studies you for a little longer, but eventually raises an eyebrow and chuckles. Well, it's nice to meet you, Brayburn says, reaching out to shake your hand. You chuckle nervously and shook hands. Well, it's nice to meet you. Everyone else is staying at inns nearby, but you all get to stay with me, said Brayburn. Let's get your stuff inside. You gave Brayburn a nod and help him get your luggage out of the car. Sorry about arriving late. They did arrive rather late, considering the sun was already setting. No worries, Brayburn says. We're doing everything tomorrow anyway. So excited, she says. Aren't we all? Brayburn said, making both of them laugh. You smile at Applejack's interaction with her cousin. You look around at the rest of the family, and it's heartwarming to see. They all seem very close, despite presumably living so far away for a long time. You look around at Brayburn's apple orchard. It's enormous, probably as big as hers. Rolling hills as far as the eye could see, dotted with dozens upon dozens of apple trees. Out in the distance, complemented by the fiery sunset sky, was a lonely little hill. A single apple tree adorned the summit, overlooking the entire orchard. Quite a majestic sight. Y'all coming? Applejack calls out to you. You snap out of your trance and look at Applejack. The sunset shines on her so wonderfully, the light contouring her perfectly curvy figure, making her golden hair shimmer. Yeah, coming, you say, catching up with Applejack. Tomorrow the festivities will begin, and you're not sure what to expect. Will there be planned events? Will it just be the family hanging out? You're unsure, but hopefully it won't be too awkward. Now comes the next day. As outgoing as the Apple family seemed, they appear to be somewhat divided socially. The older apples, younger apples, and the kids were among the dominant pods. You're unsure what to do. Everyone's just hanging out with another, either sewing, making cider, baking, or just messing around. You're not sure who to talk to. All you're doing is standing around awkwardly as you watch everyone socialize. You only know Applejack and her immediate family. Sure, she introduced you to a lot of her relatives yesterday, but it was only brief. So, what do you do? It'd be weird to go talk to Granny Smith or the rest of the older members of the family. And as much as you love Apple Bloom, it'd be weird to talk to her and her friends as well. She seemed to be having a blast in her own little pod. Applejack was just talking to some relatives, and it'd be rude to cut in, right? With a sigh, unsure what else to do, you decide to go outside and hang on the porch. Maybe some fresh air will be nice to clear your mind a bit. You lean on the column of the porch and gaze out into the orchard. It's not Sweet Apple Acres, but you can still see yourself and AJ as little kids running through the orchard, playing tag, or racing to the nearest tree. You can see Applejack prowling the fields, trying to find where you're hiding, and you also see yourself and AJ leaning on the fence, chatting, drinking homemade apple cider. You smile at those memories. Happy times, simpler times. It's at that moment you realize how much you long for those. The days where you're just best friends, when you didn't have a crush on her. When every encounter with her wasn't a fight against your heart to contain your feelings. When you could just have fun with her. Racing through the fields, playing tag, hide and seek, just sitting around talking with her. Now everything had to come with drama or the feel of scaring her off with your feelings. You want to tell her, and you don't want to hide how you feel anymore, but what if she doesn't accept your feelings? What if you lose her as a friend? At the same time, what if she does? What if you could be more than a friend to her? What are you supposed to do? There you are! You look behind and see Applejack at the doorway. Oh. Hey. You feel your heart rate rise at the sight of her. You alright? She walks next to you. Yeah, guess a little awkward. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Sugar Cube. Our flutters at the sound of her calling you Sugar Cube. You always love it when she calls you that. It's fine. You want to catch up with your family, I understand. I don't want y'all to feel left out. You shuddered at feeling an Applejack's hand on your shoulder. Let's go for a walk. Brayburn's got a beautiful orchard. You can feel yourself blushing. A walk sounds really nice. Besides, how can you say no to such a gorgeous face? That sounds nice. She smiles and gestures you to follow her. You smile and start walking with her through the orchard. Sorry for making you feel let out, Sugar. We don't mean for that to happen. It's fine. I know you didn't mean it. You know, you and I don't spend as much time together as we used to. Yeah, we don't. Remember we raced through Sweet Apple Acres together? Yeah, you always beat me. You win sometimes. Sometimes. You won most of the time. I'm not as agile as you. Y'all were really good at finding me whenever I played hide and seek, though. Because I could always hear you giggling to yourself whenever you were hiding. At least you were faster than me. I could never catch you when I did find you. I still hate for you for dragging me into the mud pit. You pushed me in. Because you crushed my hat, she retorts. If this is an accident, you know it. I know, I just like mixing with you. Believe me, I know. You both laugh at memories from your childhood. It was amazing to think about everything that's happened to you over the years. I still remember when you lost Wanoa. Ah, shucks. I was so scared. Wait! Hold the fuck up!
What?
In this story, fucking AJ lost her dog!
No. Not like lost, like dead. I'm talking lost as in ran away. I bet this.
Well, let's see. You cried for a good 5 minutes before we went out to go looking for her. I'm glad we found her. Y'all stayed up with me to look up for her. Okay, so it's just... Wanoa ran away for a bit. Okay.
Yeah. He was almost shocked. Now I was shocked too. I was like, wait, what? You can't have that.
Why am I being pinged? Oh. Never mind. Yeah. That was quite a night. We were up until about 3 in the morning looking for her, you said. You know, you can ignore me to no end, but you're always there for me. And I still am, you say. I always will be. She gives you a soft smile, making you blush. Thanks, Sugar. I'm here for you, too. You smile back and continue to walk with her before you see something in the distance. The same hill you saw yesterday with a single apple tree. You got an idea, and you looked at her. What? She asked, raising an eyebrow. You extend your index finger out to the distance. That hill with the apple tree. I'll race you there. Her eyes go wide. What? You heard me. Sugar, I don't know. I'm still a little tired from the trip, and suddenly she bolts in the direction of the hill, leaving you in the dust. Hey!
Son of a bitch.
Hey, not fair! Without a second thought, you start sprinting towards the hill, trying to catch up with her. You can hear her laugh as she races to the hill. She's still faster than you. Normally it frustrates you, but right now the nostalgia of chasing after her through the orchard makes you feel too excited to feel upset. And you find yourself laughing at her. She's halfway up the hill as you reach the base. Your energy starts to wane as you climb up the hill, all your energy expended from sprinting. You see Applejack standing at the top, looking down on you with her arms folded. Still faster, she says, giggling. Hashtag wrecked.
I thought Raymond Dez would do the same shit too.
No fair, you said. You got a head start. I want a rematch. She just shakes her head, chuckling. You declare the porch as the next destination. You manage to figure out this time and get a head start. You mustered all the stamina and energy you have to run as fast as you can to the porch. You can hear her yelling behind you, clearly frustrated from you getting a head start this time around. You can hear
How
her
you
feet
like
getting
it.
closer and closer to you as the porch gets nearer. And you summon all your energy to sprint to the porch. You haven't felt a rush of excitement this big since your childhood. And in an act of desperation, you slid like a baseball player to reach the porch first. Applejack had the exact same idea, sliding next to you, and her foot touches the porch steps at the exact same time as yours. I win, you said, panting hard. What? It's a draw, you know it, she says. Come on, just let me have this once. Okay, AJ? Not a chance, my story is we tied. My story is I won by a hair. Alright, be wrong. You just came to the fact that I beat you. Whatever, hon. I know what really went down. You and Applejack lay on the ground in front of the porch steps, but panting hard for breath. Land sakes, Applejack says. I haven't felt a rush like that in a long time. Just like old times, huh? Yeah. You had enough energy to sit up, and she sits up with you. I forgot how much fun that was, though. I don't have as much energy as I did back then. I definitely don't. You laugh as well until something happens that makes your heart skip a beat. You and AJ made eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Her hair is tattered and frayed from the sweat, but it's oddly adorable. It reflects her hard-working, tomboyish personality. Chest still heaving as in yours. Green eyes reflecting the sun so beautifully, and you find you can't take your eyes off her, and her gaze never wanes either. She's just so beautiful. Applejack, a voice called out, snapping you out of your trance. It's in that moment you realize how close your mouth was to hers. And your spell, your mind was working on its own. You look towards the house and see Apple Bloom standing in the doorway with wide eyes. What are you doing? Apple Bloom asked teasingly.
Freaking cop block over here.
Applejack quickly stand up and brushed the dirt off her skirt, taking her hat off and shaking it to get the dirt off. There's nothing. What is it? Brainburn needs you, Apple Bloom says. Needs help setting up the barn for the dance tonight. Tell him I'll be right there, Sugar Cube. Apple Bloom gave a smile and a nod before retreating back to the house. Applejack looks back down at you and rubs her neck. She holds her hand out and helps you up off the ground. I need to get help. I need to help Brainburn with some things, she says. Oh, okay, you say. And you notice something. Is Applejack blushing? Y'all excited for the dance? Sure, you say. Sounds like it'll be fun. It will be. And hey, don't be a stranger, all right? Everyone's here's real nice. I believe you. It's just a bit awkward, you know? I know. Well, maybe you can help us set up. I'd love to. Well, we shouldn't keep Braeburn waiting. Should we? Probably not. She surprises you with a hug before walking back inside. You can't help but notice a subtle sachet in her hips as she walks. Is she doing that on purpose? That moment you had with her? Did that really just happen? Your mind was working on its own. You didn't realize how close you were to her lips until Apple Bloom interrupted you. Oh, I'm sorry. Cock blocked you.
Exactly.
You almost kissed her. You know what you had to do now? You could deny it no longer. Tonight at the dance, you have got to tell her. So let's fast forward to that very night. In Brayburn's barn, the Apple family reunion bar dance was in full swing. Turns out part of the Apple family was a bluegrass band, and a rather good one at that. They played music as many of the Apples and friends danced and sang along. For you, it was heartwarming to see a big family so close with one another. Apparently you weren't the only family friend to be invited, as you saw many people you didn't recognize who were clearly not Apples. Nevertheless, they sure acted like family, dancing around and not giving a care to the world. It wasn't a formal event, but you decided it'd be wiser to look a little nice. Black button-down shirt, black pants, black shoes. Not much, but it was up to par with what everyone else was wearing. But Applejack was nowhere to be seen. Where could she be? Can't wait to see if she's dressed up or not, too. There we go. You always like to wear black, huh? A familiar voice said next to you. You glance beside you, and there she is. You do a double take when you see that Applejack had indeed decided to dress up, and how did she look beautiful. Red button-down shirt, opened up at the top to reveal a yellowish-green undershirt, bringing out her gorgeous green eyes and outlining a curvy figure. Orange skirt dotted with red apple graphics, complementing by her boots that were dotted with similar stuff. And she still wore her regular boots and cowgirl hat. It wasn't extravagant or anything, but dressing up just a little bit made Applejack look amazing. Wow. You look great, Applejack, you said. Immediately you scold yourself. Did you seriously say that out loud? Thankfully, no. She just gave an adorable southern guffaw, complimented by a smile. You're so sweet. Thank you. You look pretty sharp yourself. You feel your cheeks go immediately red. Thanks. Come on, let's go dance, she says, dragging you out to the crowd with her, not waiting for an answer. It was a little awkward at first, since she dragged you out so suddenly, but eventually you started dancing. It was amazing. Usually not one for dancing, but it was so encouraging and welcoming that you felt comfortable enough to not give a care in the world and just dance. You even started humming along to some of the music, despite not knowing most of them. But for the most part, your attention was focused on Applejack. It was wonderful to see her so happy. She was always more outgoing than you were. She even took your hands and started to encourage you to dance more. Honestly, you never had more fun in your life. The energy in the room was amazing. Just a family and their friends having fun with one another. Truly unique. It's still heartwarming to see how close this family is. After a while, you decided to take a break. Chasing Applejack around the orchard earlier did a great job with sapping your energy. Taking a seat on a hay bale, you watched everyone dance. Apple Bloom, Sweetie, Scootaloo, and Babs looked like they were having a blast. Even Big Mac and Granny were dancing. But admittedly, your attention is focused on AJ. You promised yourself you would tell her how you feel tonight. The moment you had with her racing around the orchard was a sign. At least you hope it was. Your gaze drifts down to the ground, and your mind is going haywire, trying to formulate a plan. The timing had to be perfect. What were you going to say? How would you tell her? Sugar Cube? A familiar voice says in front of you. You look up to see Applejack staring back at you. You okay? Your heart skips a beat. She looks so pretty in that party outfit. Yeah. I just have a lot on my mind, that's all. Like what? Suddenly the music in the room shifts to something more slow. You see everyone on the floor either leaving or pair up and begin a slow dance. You feel your face going bright red at the realization of your current situation. A slow song just began and Applejack was right here in front of you. This was your chance. Don't fuck it up!
YOLO, man.
AJ? Yeah. Your mind is on autopilot, seizing the opportunity. You stand at him and offer her your hand. Do you want to dance? You ask. You immediately scold yourself inside for how sudden your offer was. But thankfully, Applejack just smiles. You can barely make out a slight shade of red on her freckled cheeks. Oh boy.
Oh my god.
I thought you'll never ask, she says. You smile and blush. A shudder ripples through your body at the feeling of her accepting your hand. Out of your peripheral vision, you see Apple Bloom and her friends looking at you and AJ as you take her to the dance floor. Are they giggling? You arrive at the dance floor, and you feel your heart starting to pound against your chest as AJ gets closer to you. She wraps her arms around your neck, and you try to keep yourself calm as you rest your hands, on her waist. Your heart is on fire as you share your very first dance with her. She's so close to you. Her green eyes have never been so beautiful, and that smile has never been prettier. You're really dancing with her. You spend your whole life around her. Well, this is the closest you've ever been to her. And it's nothing short of wonderful. Your heart is screaming at you. The time is now, but there's a huge lump in your throat. So big you just couldn't speak. As much as you want to confess, part of you just wanted to savor this intimate moment with her. Sugar cube? She says, snapping you out of your trance. What? You said dumb. You said dumbly. There's something I've been wanting to ask you, she says. What's that? Well, we don't spend as much time as we used to. I know, you mentioned that earlier. Why is that? Ever since high school, it's like we've been drifting apart. You bite your lip. Was this it? Was this the moment? Well, I've just been really busy and don't lie, hun. I want to know why y'all have had to avoid me. Avoiding you say? I know it's what you've been doing. I want to know what's been going on. Why have you been so distant? You grit your teeth. You don't want to admit it, but this was it. No way you were going to try to lie to her again. She has you trapped. No way out. This is the moment you were waiting for. And all of a sudden, somebody in the chat goes, "Spaghetti pours out the pockets." Son of a bitch. We're not ruining the mood.
That's not.
Sugar, all I want is the truth. I'm your friend. I promise I won't judge you for anything you say. So you pursed your lips. Her eyes were insistent, but they were compassionate also. You could potentially ruin your entire friendship right now, or she could be all yours. It was a risk, but all things considered, it's a risk you're willing to take. I'm sorry, AJ, I've been such an idiot. Just tell me what's going on, hon. You tighten your grip on her waist. AJ, you're my closest friend. You've always been there for me, and you've seen me at my worst. I can always count on you to have my back, and all my best memories are with you. But ever since high school, I've been looking at you differently. Nobody understands me like you do, and nobody makes me smile like you do. You give me a hard time about everything, and I do the same to you, but at the end of the day, I know we have nothing but the purest intentions for each other. You know me better than anyone else. You get me. You're just so unique. I never met another girl like you. We've been friends for so long, but I didn't want to ruin it by telling you that you what? Your heart is on fire. That I've caught feelings. Applejack's eyes go wide. What? I know it sounds weird, but it's true. I like you. I really, really like you. I see you differently now, and what I see is beautiful. That's why I've been avoiding you. I don't want to ruin the greatest friendship I've ever had. I don't want to scare you away. But I can't keep my feelings inside anymore. I really like you, AJ. You're amazing. The apple of my eye. Oh, title drop!
More credits.
We've been best friends for as long as I can remember, but I want to be more. For you, I want to be more. Her eyes are wide. She is silent for a moment, but the moment felt like an eternity. The fate of your friendship hangs in the balance. You were in free fall, completely at her mercy. Out there now. She knows how you really feel about her. Wow, she stammers. You don't say a word, letting her process her thoughts. You start scolding yourself inside for dropping so much on her at once. Your heart worked on its own and poured everything out at once, not really giving her any time to breathe. Did it really just cost you your best friend? Listen, Sugar Cube, you're a great guy. Oh, God. And I want nothing but the best for you. Oh, fuck.
No.
But you expect to hear our rejection, but she stops talking and pants around the room. But, you goes, I'm fucking tensing now.
Oh, no. Oh,
Here, come with me. She starts walking away, and you follow her, presumably to a more private area. You can feel the tsunami of tears building up behind your eyes. You know she's going to reject you. You just have to wait to hear how. Now things are going to be awkward between you two. Why did you even think she said yes? You know it was going to end like this. You just lost your best friend. She leads you outside to the side of the barn near some hay bales. Nobody else is around. At least she was nice enough to bring you to a private area to reject you and not make you cry in front of everyone. AJ, before you say anything, I'm sorry. You stop when you see Applejack take her hat off. Before you question it, she tosses herself to the side, cups your face, and brings you into your very first kiss. You're completely caught off guard. It's the polar opposite of what you're expecting. But your doubt and shock fade away in an instant at the feeling of her lips. Your heart melts in total bliss as you wrap your arms around her toned, muscular body. She moans in your mouth as you take over, leading the kiss. You stumble backwards and sit down on the hay bales with AJ in your arms as you continue to kiss. You lay back on the hay bales, bringing Applejack with you. You feel her moan in your mouth as she straddles with you. She smells of fresh apple pie. Her sweet scent envelops you, clouding your senses and filling your mind with lust. You hold her tight and move your hands around, exploring her toned body. Even after knowing her for so long, you're still amazed at the sheer amount of muscle underneath her smooth skin. She moans as your hand reaches her butt, and in response she untucks your shirt to slip her hand up and feel around your pale skin. You shudder at the sensation and move your hand down to the underside of her thigh, making her moan even more. You use your other hand to massage her curved, muscular waist, and you feel her start to move in rhythm with your hands as you explore her body, making your lust skyrocket. But her lips, her perfect lips, were sweeter than any apple she'll ever make. The feeling of her lips exceeded even your wildest fantasies. She mirrored every one of your movements so perfectly. Every caress of her lips against yours made you groan, but you're careful to not be too loud. Anyone can walk around the corner and catch you making out with her. At the same time, the potential seemed to be contributing to the untold amount of excitement and passion you're feeling. Never before have you felt so happy. It felt like all your pent-up emotions and feelings finally being released in this one amazing kiss. And just like that, it was over. You and Applejack pull away, leaving you both panting for air. You're left totally speechless, and your brain is trying to process what just transpired. Applejack, your best friend, your crush, just kissed you. Honest to goodness, kissed you. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a fantasy. It really happened. The girl of your dreams kissed you. Applejack just giggles. You alright? You shake your head, try to refocus yourself. Applejack, you thought what? I thought you were going to reject me. I just took you out of here to get us some privacy. I'm confused. Why? What were you about to say before we came out here? Applejack smiles and strokes your cheek. I was going to ask what took you so long. Are you hearing things? No, I'm afraid your ears aren't deceiving you. Wait, you knew? I've known for a while now, hon. She knew? All this time you've been avoiding her for nothing? Man, this fucking narrator is fucking incompetent.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry, AJ. I've been avoiding you and lying for you such a long time, trying to keep my feelings contained. I'm such a jerk. You must hate me. She just gives you a soft smile and a kiss on the cheek, making your heart melt. I don't hate you, Sugar Cube. I could never hate you. Just wish we didn't have to play games. You bite your lip. As wonderful as this moment should be, you can't help but feel ashamed. I just couldn't bear the thought of losing you as a friend, AJ, you say. You're so important to me. She smiles and gets off at you, sitting beside you, and takes your hand as you sit up. I understand. You're important to me too, but I don't think you know how long I've been waiting for you to tell me. Really. Applejack nods, squeezing your hand. I had you along for a reunion because I wanted to spend more time with you. I missed you, sugar. You smile at her and done something bold, giving her a kiss on the cheek. I missed you too. Don't worry, I won't neglect you anymore. I'll give you all the attention you deserve. You squeeze Applejack's hand, and you can see her blushing. You gaze into her eyes, and they never looked so beautiful. You lift your hand to brush the hair out of her face, making her shudder. You have the prettiest green eyes, you say. A big smile grows on her, and her cheeks go bright red. You really think so? She asks. You don't respond with words, but instead another kiss. It wasn't long. It was just a peck. But it was enough to make her go completely red. I've always thought that. She begins playing with the end of her ponytail, blushing majorly. You just can't help but chuckle. It was rare to see her act so shy, but when she did, it was the most adorable thing ever. You lean in, you kissed her again. You felt her hand rest on the nape of your neck as you curl a hand around her thigh, and her lips were so sweet and delicious you never felt such a wonderful sensation in your life. You pull away, and Applejack pulls you into a big hug, but it wasn't a hug to make you question if she knows her own strength. It was perhaps the warmest, most loving hug she ever gave you. Your heart melts yet again as you wrap your arms around her in return, and you never felt close to her in your life. Want to go back inside? She asks. You look around and notice the sun going down, about halfway set. Silhouetted against the fiery background of the sky was the familiar hill with the single apple tree on top. Actually, I have a better idea. Huh? The hill we raced earlier, you said. Let's watch the sunset from there, just you and me. She smiles big and her eyes lit up. What are we still waiting here for, she says. Let's get going. You want to race there, you said? She looks down at your hand and shakes her head. Actually, let's just walk. Together. She interlaces your fingers. Your heart flutters at the way she's looking at you. So you give her another peck before getting up from the hay bale, and hand in hand, you and AJ walk to the hill. The sky slowly gets darker as you close to the hill, but you didn't care. You're walking while holding her hand, and at this point, nothing else matters but her. Eventually, you two reach the summit of the hill, and the sight is nothing short of breathtaking. Dozens upon dozens of apple trees dotted the landscape, illuminated by the setting sun. Oh God. The sky was aflame with an array of brilliant, vivid colors, and the sun was just low enough to allow the starry night sky to peek through. A truly majestic sight. Land sakes, she says, her eyes filled with wonder. Yeah, you say, bringing her to the apple tree. You sit down, leaning back on the trunk. You look at AJ and pat the spot in front of you, holding your arms out to her. She smiles and takes a seat in front of you. She takes her hat off and let her long hair flow like a golden waterfall. She leans back on your chest, letting out a relaxed sigh, looking up at you, placing her hat on your head, making you chuckle. She snuggles up with you as you wrap your arms around her, making her melt in your embrace. You start brushing her hair, making her moan and lean into your hand. Her hand is so silky, seamlessly running through your fingers. Then you spot a fallen apple next to you, a very tasty looking one. You picked it up and dusted it off, and you notice that she's looking in the direction of your hand. She looks up at you, and you give her a smile as you bring her closer to your mouth. She looks at the apple and then at you, giving you a giggle before taking a bite out of it. You chuckle at how cute she looks right now. You take it out of the apple yourself, making her laugh again. You hand the apple to her and wrap your arms around her again. You give her a kiss on the cheek, making her giggle. You can't help but smile at how giggly her giggle is. Or how girly it is, even. Perhaps the girliest you ever heard of her. It was the cutest thing ever. You pull away from her cheek, only for her to turn her head towards you and connect your lips to another kiss. You didn't fight one bit. You can taste a bit of apple juice in her lips, and it made the kiss even better. You pull away and she relaxes in your embrace. You squeeze your arms around her as you both gaze out into the distance. The setting sun ignites the sky with colors. The only sound that came The only sound came from the rustling of leaves in the tree above you. So peaceful, so serene. You could share it all with AJ. You brush her hair as you admire the amazing vista. You hear her moan as you run your fingers through her golden hair. No other place you'd rather be than with your favorite farm girl. Sure is gorgeous, she says. Almost as pretty as you. Oh, shucks, sugar cube. I'm serious. Look at me. Look at I'm lying. She looks at you and a smile grows on her face as she studies you. Nah, you ain't lying. She then turns bright red. I ain't that pretty, am I? Yes, you are. She just continues to blush and chuckles nervously. It's so cute. Wow, she said. Nobody's ever said that to me before. Well, I'm saying it right now. You're beautiful, Applejack. Applejack giggles again. She begins playing with her hair as she gazes up at you. Her forest green eyes appear to sparkle as she looks up at you. At that moment, Applejack is the most beautiful thing in the world. You gave her another tender kiss, feeling her melt in your arms as your lips touch. You pull away, and Applejack snuggles up in your embrace, gazing out into the distance. You continue to brush her hair, holding her tight as you watch the sun set with her. Applejack, your best friend, the girl of your dreams, was finally yours. Now you can be more than a friend of her. It felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off your shoulders. You confessed your feelings. She accepted them. You never felt so at peace. What new adventures waited for you? You're unsure, but you don't care honestly. With Applejack by your side, you were ready for anything. She'd be there for you. She'll always be there for you. And you'll be there for her. After all, you've always been there for her. So, I still have a question. I wonder if this next chapter, this short one, the epilogue, even said anything. I'm curious to why the Cutie Mark Crusaders were here. So, here we have the Cutie Mark Spies. Thanks for inviting us along, Apple Bloom, Scootaloo said. Yeah, this is so much fun, said Sweetie Belle. No problem, AB said. I knew y'all wanted to see you, Babseed. It's been awesome getting to see you again, said Babs. Grandma sure knows how to party, Scootaloo said. Then suddenly Sweetie gasped. What is it? Apple Bloom asked. Applejack, she's gone out to the dance floor. With him! The three girls looked, and sure enough saw Applejack being led onto the dance floor by a certain guy. Smiles graced as they watched them begin to dance together. Aww, Sweetie Belle said. They're slow dancing, says Bloom. It's finally happening. What is? Bab asked. Well, Bloom said, Applejack liked him for such a long time. She's just been waiting for him to make the first move. Does he like her back? Bab asked. The other three girls chuckled. Of course he likes her. He's just a tad shy, that's all, says Bloom. Sweetie Belle, I think they'll be perfect together. I know, right? Said Apple Bloom. Wait, Scoot said. They're walking outside. The four girls watched Applejack and her friend walk outside and turn the corner. The girls looked at each other, and simultaneously their eyes went wide. Wait, said Sweetie. We shouldn't spy, should we? I mean, they're probably wanting some privacy. Yeah, Bloom said, but I just can't help myself. So Apple Bloom immediately got up from her seat and followed her sister and her friend. The three others soon followed, eager to see what would happen, too. Even if it was a little rude, the curiosity outweighed the potential consequences. Fucking hell. Cutie Mark assholes.
Wow.
The four of them peered around the corner to see Applejack sitting next to her friend on hay bales. They're holding hands, Bloom squeaked. Shh, Scoot whispered. They'll hear us. The girls tried to contain their excitement as Applejack's friend brushed her hair out of her face. Where he said, you have the prettiest eyes. And Applejack's cheeks went visibly red. You really think so? He didn't say anything, but instead leaned in for a kiss. And Apple Bloom almost screamed in excitement. Applejack was kissing him. It's really happening. That's awesome, said Babs. I know, said Scoots. It's about time. Tell me about it, said Bloom. AJ and her friend stopped kissing and looked into each other's eyes. I've always thought that, he said. Applejack started nervously playing her with her ponytail, and her friend, or now boyfriend, is looking at her with such light before leaning in for another kiss. Aw, the girls went. They realized they may have been a bit loud and immediately backed away from the corner. So they went back inside before they started gushing about what was happening. Sweetie Belle went, That was so cute! I wish you guys would tell me I had pretty eyes. I don't think I've ever seen Applejack that shy before, said Scoots. It finally happened, said Apple Bloom. They're together now. Applejack has a boyfriend. And the girls all squealed in delight. I gotta tell Granny, I gotta tell Big Mac, Apple Bloom said before rushing off. Admittedly, they've all been wanting Applejack and a friend to get together. Surely they'd be ecstatic when they heard the news. And that's the end.
My goodness. What a ride that was.
It certainly was.